a leader personally directed an inspection in the provinces, intending to name names. In the months since Wen's retirement and Xi's ascent, local party and state officials had been on the receiving end of thousands of public comments and complaints. These lists of personal errors served as the basis for dozens of self-criticisms during Xi's visit to Hebei. Over 2 days, in 4 marathon democratic life meetings, officials on the verge of tears admitted their failings to Xi. However, these apologies were not kept private within the back rooms where party state elites often make decisions. Instead, China Central Television broadcast the dramatic scenes for all to see. Zhou Benshun, Hebei's top party official, made admissions of carelessness, laziness, and bureaucratic thinking, then apologetically added, "I cared very much about development speed and economic volumes, but not as much about people's own interests." This part of Zhou's confession signaled that Xi had led a stunning about-face within the Chinese Communist Party, CCP. For a Chinese local official to care too much about GDP growth appeared oxymoronic after decades of statements and reports like the one that Wen had delivered only a half-year before. The work of Chinese officials during the reform era had seemed mostly to entail increasing the size of the economy and standing in front of audiences of other party members talking about reaching economic benchmarks. These statistics were the principal face of Chinese politics to the citizenry, the investors, and the outside world. An explicit attack on the quantitative metrics of performance that had dominated the discourse for more than 3 decades, especially in the context of open, emotional displays of conflict within the party state, points to serious changes in the form and content of Chinese politics. Indeed, these broadcasts were but one of a series of similar public presentations introducing a new normal to officials, the people, and the world. A few numbers came to define Chinese politics, until they did not count what mattered, and what they counted did not measure up. This book argues that the Chinese government adopted a system of limited, quantified vision in order to survive the disasters unleashed by Mao Zedong's ideological leadership, explains how that system worked, and analyzes how problems accumulated in its blind spots until Xi led the regime into a neopolitical turn. Xi's new normal is an attempt to fix the problems of the prior system, as well as a hedge against an inability to do so. While, of course, dictators stay in power through coercion and cooptation, they also do so by convincing their populations and themselves of their right to rule. Quantification is one tool in this persuasive arsenal, but it comes with its own perils. The successes and failures of China's limited, quantified vision. For most of the past 4 decades of what is referred to in China as reform and opening, development, fajian, has dominated Chinese politics almost like a religion. Officials competed for promotions based on comparative developmental track records, while the regime justified its rule to its citizens and to itself through development. The incessant litany of figures, statistics, and numbers all pointed in the same positive direction toward increased wealth and power for China and the Chinese people. The popular information and ideological environment was one of policy success without presentation of alternatives or even the articulation of the possibility of alternatives beyond some technocratic details. This quantified discourse had dominated Chinese politics since Chairman Mao's death in 1976. How did a revolutionary Communist Party come to justify itself through a limited number of statistics? And why is it currently shifting away from doing so? The economic and social disaster of the decade-long Cultural Revolution that preceded Mao's death made pragmatic politicians and ideas attractive to an elite and a population.